Hello from Dubai. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace, where we do discuss an awesome skill of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check comments for the list of the questions. Let's speak about mathematical logic, and let's start with the definition.
In this case, Maxim, I'm very afraid of this question, and maybe I will ask you to help me with translation. I know how to explain it in Russian, but I was never explaining this in English. Mathematical logic, this is a division of mathematical science, which work with mathematical обозначения, symbolism,
Meanings or symbols or characters.
mathematical symbols, mathematical characters, formalistic systems, and also доказуемость, how to prove your sentence, which was written with mathematical sentence. Mathematical logic is very important, and the main reason why we learn this, because if you are aware of this, and I am aware of this, and we have like scientific расхождения, differentiations, and we have some like quarrel. If you will write down every step on mathematical logic level, I will understand and I will agree with you. For example, if we will go to religion, if we will go to philosophy, you will give me your explanation of world or about something or object, and I will give you mine, and we couldn't create common theory, because we have different languages, we have different meanings. For example, I think about brain, you talk about mind, you talk about language, I talk about tongue, and so on. I would talk about heart, you will talk about soul. So there is no common language for us. But mathematical logic is like Esperanto for people who talk on different languages, but they could understand and follow up when you write something down.
And when we speak about mathematical logic, whether it's like a subset or part of the formal logic, or it's something that could go like in a parallel to it.
There are no such a word like a logic at all. By the way, mathematical logic, it previously was called by ancient Greeks like logistics. But now logistics in our days, we call something which is moving in streams, like material streams or informational streams or money streams. And now we call this logistics. But previously, mathematical logic, it was logistic. How to create обозначение, assignments.
Science.
How to create assignments or science. How to divide something on parts. How to create something from different parts to make synthesis. And if you will use mathematical logic, you could talk, for example, with programming guys. If I am a coder and I could write something down on Python or maybe on assembler, you will give me your equation on mathematical logics, and I will immediately know what to do. There are just three languages to talk with programmers. First is technical задание, technical request, or algorithm, or maybe equation which was written by mathematical logic language.
And if we do look at it from the language perspective, obviously there might be some sort of like a vocabulary, and in vocabulary there is also might be like a different categories that we might be operating with. So when we approach to trying to build any, I would say like a sentence in whatever way, or maybe expression, so what kind of parts it may have in order to be complete?
There is a very common language, and maybe you use those symbols when you make a conspect of lectures in School of Troubleshooters. For example, there is a sign like upwards letter A, which mean any. There is a letter which seems to be E, but flipped in a vertical way, and it's mean exist. There is also zero with diagonal, which is mean with set. So, for example, you could write x, any x is in set. Or, for example, any person has a head. Any living person has a breeze. If person has a breeze, he has a head. you could write this down in equations.
And once we define the vocabulary, like how exactly we want to, like define any expressions, what kind of operations might be allowed in order to find the conclusion, or maybe the conclusion itself also would be like the final expression that we are looking for. But before that, what kind of steps, operations, or maybe any other actions we need to take in order to achieve the result?
This depends why or for what you use in mathematical logics. For example, you could use it for common logic or general logic. You could use this for combinatorial logic, or maybe theory of models, or maybe theory of calculations and theory of recursions, or maybe theory of sets, or maybe theory of доказательств, theory of provement.
Oops.
Theory of provement, or even so-called constructive mathematics, конструктивная математика, constructive mathematics, or something else. So usually you use something like we have something what it was given. We take this from the world. For example, Maxim has two eyes. Maxim has one nose. Maxim has one mouse. This is what given. So we have photo, or we have Maxim who is standing close to us alive. Then we have something to prove. For example, Maxim is able to calculate how much it would be like 5 glasses of wine plus 3 shots of vodka. And in this case, we have a lot of different objects. First, some person, we should describe it. Second, two kind of drinks. And the person could understand that those drinks have different volume. So we should describe who is Maxim, what is glass of wine, what is shot of vodka, and maybe we will talk about volume, or maybe крепость, спиртовая крепость.
Strong, or like
strongness,
percentage.
Or percentage of spirit in the liquid.
And when we figure out like all of the areas, all of the equations that we have, sometimes is there any place for I don't know, like any conflicts or miscalculations or misalignment between the statements? Because some of them, they might be like really contradicting to each other. And if it comes to that, what might be the arbitrage process?
Yes, you just helped me to know two words, conflict and arbitrage. Yes, sometimes it's happened. And this so-called, I don't know how to say it in English, it's like lightning trees, грозовые деревья, or thunderbolt trees.
Lightning trees, or
Lightning trees.
Thunderstorm trees.
Thunderstorm trees. For example, Maxim wants to buy a very fancy car. This is one cloud, but another cloud. Maxim do not want to pay extra money. So Maxim want to be хозяйственный, prudent.
Prudent.
Like prudent, but from other way, Maxim wants to create something like luxury view. So there is a contradiction and conflict, and we should find something. For example, we will create a list of luxury cars, and then we will create a list how long and which kind of payment Maxim could make during, for example, 3 times. And in this case, we will have contradiction. Or maybe Maxim would buy cheaper car for short period, or maybe he would buy expensive car for a long period.
And when it comes to, let's say, like, for example, we sort of like ace the mathematical logic. Sometimes when we do speak to someone, and again, like this question, not really about the mathematical logic, but maybe trying to convince people with that, what kind of methods or like, I don't know, any mechanics we should use in order to help someone to understand what we're trying to say and use the, like common sense in order to understand us and make a decision rather than saying like, okay, it's too dry, it's not really connected to the reality.
Yes, you already told the right sentence or the right phrase. Common sense is first phrase, and second is necessary simplification, необходимое упрощение, necessary simplification. For example, I am thinking how to create a plant which will produce, I don't know, palm oil, or maybe it would create dissolving bags for shopping. And in this case, I could make a lot of calculation. For example, I was working in McKinsey in Germany, in Frankfurt am Main, and I was asked to check drawing about a very huge cruise ship, and I was making all calculation, and I was so happy to find that I could save like 20 kilometers of fiber channel optics, and I was so happy. My calculation lead company to some savings, but suddenly a partner of the company came to me and told, have you ever been on those ships? I told him, yes, I have been going from St. Petersburg to what's the capital of the Finland? I forgot. Helsinki, yes. I was going, and he asked me, and do you know how this ship will be screwing, искривляется?
Bended or curved.
Bended or curved during huge waves. I told him, I don't know. And he told me, you are trying to make exact line between two dots. But in real case, this wire or this fiber channel will bend it in the air. So it couldn't be like a string. This first. And second, sometimes this ship would be bended. So we all time I don't know how to say in Russian, we call it buchta. So we call a small cycle of the wire.
It's like a small base.
Like a small base. So yes, you could create very strong calculation in real world, but you should create a necessary simplification.
Well, then my last question will be how knowing about mathematical logic would help to make this world a better place.
Maybe I will try. I will try to pronounce a joke. For example, if there is a man and his wife, and both of them know mathematical logics, it should be no quarrel between them, because sometimes we have those disputes because we talk about same objects but with different languages. And if I will use the same language, it would be much better. But for sure, it's joke, because when a man points on something, he takes this subject as a main meaning. But if wife show to the subject, sometimes he has indirect meaning.
Well, sometimes people want to be right instead of finding the truth. And we reviewed the skill of mathematical logic and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.